Hello and welcome back to Up the Villa podcast. We have a little bit of news about the sporting director, and it seems like Unai has set his sights on his new sporting director. It is Ramon Rodriguez Verdejo, known as Monchi. A former goalkeeper of Seville. He made his debut in 1989. I mean, that's the year I was born, so that has stuck with me. So that makes me feel really, really old. He was part of the main squad of Seville in 1990, and he retired in 1999 at only the age of 30. Seville were then relegated from La Liga, and then he was brought in to be the new sporting director at Seville. And he had two main goals at Seville: to develop youth and to create a vast scouting policy. And boy, did he do that. With the likes of Jesus Navas, Sergio Ramos. Remember Reyes? Bought through Reyes. He left in 2017. He won 11 trophies in his time as sporting director. He went to Roma and then returned to Seville in 2019. So what's he all about? It's all about developing young players, selling them on for a big, big profit. Scouting networks galore. I think they had over 700 scouting networks at one point. So that ties into an area which Aston Villa drastically need to improve in, and it sort of mirrors the Brighton model slightly. So it does really feel like, although we've had Unai Emery come into Aston Villa and he has revolutionised how the team play tactically, it's the off-field stuff that he's gonna. The off-field stuff is just as important as what is going on the pitch. If we can have a correct policy and a way in which we operate and do things more like a well-oiled machine, it would make the two work in unison, and it would make us have more than just every single window. Are we going to sign him? Are we going after you? Are we going after you over there? Whereas if we have a network and a policy in the way that we operate, we just have a better understanding of how the club works, and we have a mold, don't we? So this was a quote from how he was working Monchi at Seville. So Seville's scouting network is so vast and so effective that often scouts from other big clubs will follow Seville scouts in order to track who they are watching. So that's just absolutely mental that clubs like Barcelona, Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid were just following Seville scouts around to find out who they were watching, to try and nab and poach them before they got in there. They were the best producers of young talent under Monchi. He had complete control. So Monchi had complete control of the whole transfer policy structure. But here's the big thing. His complete control would fit the tactical mold of the team. So Unai has a way of playing. Monchi knows exactly how Unai wants to play. Monchi's targets, and whoever Monchi's watching, they just watch, fit, come in, and go straight into that team and fit that team and fit areas of the team that Unai wants to operate in. And to me, it just sounds so ridiculously obvious, but it's just a masterstroke if you can get it to work. So I think that is important. They would sell their best players, replace them with youth players, which in turn would just step up and go straight into that team, because it's like for like. That the scouting is so like for like in what you've already got, and because it just works in unison, and it just makes so much sense. I know a lot of fans hate that you sell your best players, but if you've got the next best thing that just walks straight into that team and just as good as a job as the one that's leaving, you've got massive profit. I just think it's absolute work of art if it works really well. They buy low and sell high. So that's just a little bit of information on Monchi. We are linked with Monchi, who is going to be apparently coming into Aston Villa as our sporting director. So that one is also something interesting to keep our eyes on, just to see how we're going to be operating in the future. And it does feel like that just because we got Unai, it doesn't just stop with Unai. It's going to become a complete working organisation. They're going to be working together. And I just love the concept of like developing youth, scouting networks everywhere. We've already seen it with, buying the team in Portugal. We've got teams in Africa. I just think if we can have these different hubs all around the world, it's just going to mean it's easier to sign players as well. So I thought I'd just come on and offer you a little bit of information on what Monchi's all about. Who is he? What's he done? And I kind of like his story that, he was a goalkeeper for Seville. He retired. He went straight into the role at Seville, and he just developed some brilliant players. And, he had an illustrious career at Seville, winning 11 trophies in that time. So, he's worked with Unai before. Let that partnership happen. To be fair, I kind of like this one a little bit better than the Almani one, to be fair. The Almani one, it just felt a little bit strange, didn't it, towards the end? Before he'd even got announced that he was leaving, it did just feel a little bit sort of like Moneyball. That's the vibe I got. Whereas I kind of like this vibe because it shows that when you are signing youthful players as well, and don't get me wrong, it doesn't just mean that you just sign young players. You can sign players of experience as well. But I just think I'd just love us to have sort of like a transfer policy and an identity off the pitch of what we do and how we operate. I think it's something that it's that missing piece to our jigsaw now, isn't it? We've got Unai, we've got a great coach, we've got a good youth setup anyway, but this side of things just feels it just needs to come together a little bit more. And I think a Villa identity in that aspect would be really good. And I think it's a long time coming. There has been a little bit of talk about Lang leaving and going to West Ham. We've heard in the past that Lang's really ambitious and he wants to keep improving and he wants to try different things. So maybe Lang might be leaving or he might be staying. We don't know. But I would envisage that if a new guy comes in, then Lang might go elsewhere. So yeah, there we go. Little bit of news on Ramon Rodriguez Vasejo, known as Monchi. I love that name, to be fair. Absolutely quality name. So I did lie, didn't I, earlier? I said we was going to do 2 episodes today, but you're going to end up having 3 episodes today now. So hopefully you are all enjoying the content. So drop a like on this video, subscribe, up the Monchi if he comes in. Speak to you all in a bit.